Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Brought to you by, curiously enough, thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of the Gaming Gang. So welcome aboard. If this is your first time visiting, kick back, relax, make yourselves comfortable. We're not indulging in rocket surgery here. It's pretty casual. We're just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So we're chatting about the latest upcoming board games, role-playing games, card games, miniatures games. If it's going on your tabletop, we're probably talking about it. If you are someone who has been a longtime viewer, a constant viewer, thank you for once again taking time out of your busy day or night or morning to join me and hang out. Tonight is Monday, March 1st, 2021. This is live stream number 628. Wow. 628 streams. Yowza. Do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I stream the Dispatch live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my review of Call of Cthulhu Masks of Nyarlathotep from Chaosium Inc. Yes, I unleashed this bad boy on the weekend. So if you've ever been curious about what I feel is, hands down, my opinion, the greatest role-playing game campaign ever put to paper, by all means, check it out. And I remain completely spoiler-free. So I do not spoil anything, although I do page through and show stuff. Pretty much stay completely spoiler-free. All right. Anyway, should point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And of course, because this is a live stream, that means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I'll do my best to respond. So first out the gate today is the Madman saying howdy. We've got Gary Clarkson, Clint Gibson's here, Flaming Huron just joined the chat as well. So both of our chat moderators are hanging out tonight. Very cool. So we've got a brand new month off and running. Today's the 1st. Tim Vernig from Thunderworks Games is also popping in. And so is Forstereo. Forstereo? Hey, you know, I could barely speak English, you know, come on. So, all right. Anyway. So Tim's just in time because we're going to dive on into the news, and arriving in June from Thunderworks Games. Who in chat represents Thunderworks Games? I just don't know. Anyway, coming in June from Thunderworks is Cape May. Here are the details, although I wish I had far more images to share with you about this game, Tim. America's oldest seaside resort, Cape May, New Jersey, has been a popular getaway for families from New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. since the late 1700s. But Cape May was never immune to hardship. Racked by devastating fires, extreme beach erosion, swarms of mosquitoes, and intense competition from surrounding areas, the town and its residents struggled to find their way through the 19th and 20th centuries. During this turbulent time, players attempt to develop Cape May into the queen of the seaside resorts. In Camp May, players traverse the city streets as entrepreneurs, developing property while building wealth over 4 seasons to earn prestige. Build cottages, develop them into Victorian homes, and upgrade them into historic landmarks. Establish shops and grow them into profitable businesses. Carefully move around the city and make strategic use of activity cards. Complete bonus goals, then take some time to relax and spot wildlife in the best place for bird watching in the northeastern United States. Whoever balances their income, development, movement, and personal goals will go down in history as the most successful developer of Cape May. Cape May is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 1 to 2 hours, and it's going to carry an MSRP of $59.95 when it arrives in June. So, Tim, I have to ask, why don't we have any more images of the game? I went to the Thunderworks Games site. I was over at Board Game Geek. I wish I had more images to show about the game because the game sounds kind of interesting. So I'm sharing the news. I don't just share stuff where it's like, yeah, I guess I got to do this. So Tim says the Cape May Lighthouse round marker is really cool. That's not helping us as far as gameplay, Tim. Jeez, I tell you. Some of these marketing folks from these companies, boy, it's all about the chrome. It's not about the gameplay. I'm just teasing. The Madman says that they were in Cape May for boot camp. Not quite the most fun way to visit. No, I guess I wouldn't think that would be the case. Moving right along, another game that we don't have a whole lot of images for, which arrives later this month. At least Thunderworks has an excuse. That game's not coming until May. But coming from Bézier Games is the 2nd edition of Suburbia. Here's what I know. In the game of Suburbia, the city building board game, players plan, build, and develop their individual boroughs to thriving metropolises. Hex-shaped building tiles are used to add residential, commercial, civic, and industrial areas, as well as special points of interest that provide benefits and take advantage of the resources of nearby boroughs. Suburbia is a tile-laying game in which each player tries to build an economic engine and infrastructure that will be self-sufficient and eventually become both profitable and encourage population growth. As a player's income increases, they'll have more cash to purchase better buildings, such as an international airport or a high-rise office building. As their reputation increases, their population grows as well. The player with the largest population wins. This 2nd edition of Suburbia features updated artwork, larger tiles than were in the original game, a dual-sided scoreboard, game trays, storage organizers, and more. There are some expansions also that are coming out at the same time. I think there's 3 of them that are also arriving. This is going to hit stores on March 24th. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. It will carry an MSRP of $69.95. Interestingly enough, the first 2 news pieces we have are kind of about building communities. Although, Cape May, it looks like everybody's just trying to build their own area of Cape May. Whereas Suburbia, I think everybody's building their own cities. Moving right along, next month is going to see what appears to be an interesting looking fantasy game from Final Frontier Games. Here's the skinny on Merchant's Cove. Welcome ashore to Merchant's Cove. Cove, Jeff. Jeez, English, man. I need a sip. That big cup of scotch really helps out. It's just diet right. In this highly asymmetrical Euro game, each player takes control of a completely different fantasy merchant, such as the alchemist, the captain, the time traveler, and the blacksmith. How is the time traveler a merchant? I'm selling time travel. Or maybe time shares travel? Using a unique set of role-specific components and gameplay mechanics, each merchant will compete to satisfy the demands of the bold adventurers who arrive each day to spend their hard-earned coin at the famous market piers. An exciting time resource mechanism will challenge each player to balance control over the customers and market versus running a highly efficient, goods-producing shop. As players spend hours performing tasks and moving up the clock, I think they spend hours, not that they're going to spend hours playing this. They will also be watching and influencing a dynamic market base that evolves as boats fill with customers and piers fill with boats. It might be tempting to rush ahead to and influence which customers visit the market and where they shop, but that might leave you with less time to respond to their demands. And they're demanding. On the other hand, you might want to stay back, operating on more information about the market and taking extra time and maybe corruption to squeeze the most efficiency out of your day as possible. By selecting a different merchant or a different rogue card, set of townfolk cards, or other content, you can customize the way you play. Each merchant offers a completely unique gameplay experience and is fully compatible with every other merchant. With so many options, you can enjoy a deeply replayable system that's sure to be different every time you play it. Once again, this is another game that has a variety of expansions that are hitting at the same time, and these expansions are other merchants. Interesting. Merchant's Cove is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 45 to 75 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $79.99 when it hits stores in April. Now, I have to say, this is a release that there is no lack of images for. There are tons and tons of images over on the Final Frontier Games website. I got to say, I have never heard of this company before. And it seems like they've got a few games. I don't think they're from an English language speaking country for some strange reason. Although the localization of that sell sheet info was pretty good. All right, so let's move on to some role-playing game news, because available in print and in PDF from Osprey Games is a new Bronze Age role-playing game. Here's the scoop on Jackals. And get ready, I am going to mispronounce umpteen different fantasy world names and things like that. But who cares? It's not real. The Zayahets, the land between the Vori Waste and the plains of Echo, is well known as the land of risings, dominated by the rising city-states of Amina Noani and Sentim, facing each other along the Great War Road. The Zayahets have always been home to powerful civilizations. Beastmen ruins dot the landscape, a constant reminder of the kingdom of sin and the fragility of the law of men. Even older are the great ruins of the Hulathi, the legendary sea peoples. Hey, I wonder, are those the sea peoples that kind of trashed Egypt, that nobody really knows where they came from? I wonder. And the Hunnic mansions sealed beneath the mountains, awaiting those who would seek out the lost folk. Scars abound from the wars between ruined Kedah in the north and Gurwa in the south. And far to the east, the legends of Muta still beckon occultists and jackals who seek to plunder its corrupted ruins. Inspired by the myths, cultures, and history of the ancient Near East, and by such ancient texts as the Iliad, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Old Testament, Jackals is a sword and sorcery role-playing game set in a fantasy Bronze Age. With mechanics based on the popular open quest system, the game places players in the role of jackals, adventurers, explorers, Jeez, Jeff. Can't even speak English tonight. What the heck's going on? So I'm going through all those wacky fantasy words. Then I can't even say sell swords. So the Madman says Final Frontier Games is based in Macedonia. Aha, okay. Oh, they put out Cavern Tavern, which, if I remember correctly, used to be through Mayfair Games. Anyway, the players take on the roles of jackals, adventurers, explorers, sell swords, and scavengers, and sends them out into the peril-filled land of the Zarahets to make their fortune, or perhaps fulfill a greater destiny. The 274-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $35. You can grab the PDF right now over at DriveThruRPG for $24. Once again, we have that oddball pricing with Osprey Games and their physical books and PDFs. Could be interesting. I wish I had much more to share with you. This is all I've got, of course. So I'm kind of curious. What is the Open Quest system? Is that somehow related to RuneQuest? I'm curious. I did not, well, I got to be honest, I didn't look real hard, but a casual glance online did not lead me to any definitive information about that. So I'm kind of curious because if you don't know, the wonderful RuneQuest role-playing game from my friends over at Chaosium Inc., which is the baby of Greg Stafford, which is just unbelievably detailed as far as the setting, the world setting. If this Jackals has, like, you know, maybe if this is a rules light kind of game, I would think you could probably plug this in to RuneQuest or RuneQuest into this. So kind of interesting because honestly, RuneQuest is really the only major fantasy role-playing game out there that kind of tackles a Bronze Age world. And boy, I'm telling you, if you have ever read any of the Glorantha stuff, whew, man, that is seriously detailed world building there. No doubt. Probably the most detailed fantasy game world that I'm aware of. I would think, yeah, Glorantha is probably the most detailed. But yeah, Jackals could be kind of cool. I don't know. All right, my final news piece. There is a new setting book for Savage Worlds. Here's the details on Big Apple Sewer Samurai from Pinnacle Entertainment. This is a love letter to the action cartoons of the 80s and 90s. More specifically, a toolkit for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition to emulate the fun and mayhem of these Saturday morning animated shows. Whether you plan to use the included micro setting or create your own inspired by your favorite show, you'll find everything you need to play. More than 30 new edges, 6 new character races with 25 unique variations and guidelines to create your own, stat blocks for dozens of adversaries, 4 one-page adventures, 8 iconic pre-gens. Got to point out, this is not a complete product, and it does require the Savage World core rules, or I should say Savage Worlds, plural, core rules in order to play. So you can score the 60-page PDF over at DriveThruRPG right now. Just came out, and it's doing very well. You can pick it up in PDF for $7. So the Madman, yes, the Madman is our resident Savage Worlds expert. And he's pointing out that he had not heard of this one. Sounds fun. Obviously enough, it is at least from taking a peek at this, it is heavily influenced by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm sure probably Gargoyles. That's another like 80s, 90s action cartoon. So I got to be honest, here's the odd thing. I didn't watch those cartoons. I was probably just a little too old cuz I graduated in 1985 as far as high school went. So, although I did watch some anime, I watched a little Batman the animated series, but outside of that, I really wasn't watching like Saturday morning cartoons. All right, that is it for the news. The last two items I was talking about, Jackals and Big Apple Sewer Samurai, are both available over at Drive-Thru RPG. And of course, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit, say, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, please swing by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up. And he helped keep the gaminggang.com around. And a lot of people do. A lot of people do use those links. So I really, really do appreciate it. I truly do. So the Madman says, get ready for that drive-through boost. Oh, must be something floating around that the Madman's thinking of picking up. Anyway, so hopefully everybody had a great weekend. Mine was all right. I actually was shooting a Kickstarter preview video that will be out tomorrow when the Kickstarter launches. So that will be part of the Kickstarter project. So a funny thing is you can actually see the video now. It's not listed. It's not listed out, it's not like you weren't notified that the video's up, but it's what's considered to be unlisted. And the reason is because it was going to be private. And then the folks who had me do this Kickstarter preview, they were having a hard time getting to see it with the private invite. So I was like, fine, just make it unlisted. Make it unlisted. So, of course, also do want to point out that episode 4 in my series, So You Want to Be a Game Master, was posted today. And I talk about session 0. Give you some tips, some thoughts about your first session, sitting down to roll up the player characters. And then my next video in that series is going to be talking about how to choose your first adventure. What are some things to look for in the first adventure for a new role-playing game system? So stay tuned. All right. Anyway, so I'm kind of surprised we don't have a grade A here. We haven't seen a grade A today. Anyway, something I want to mention is that, because I know a grade A had pointed this out last week about all the news that was coming out from Modifius Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast. And I assume he was probably figuring, okay, well, Jeff's going to cover this stuff. Thing is, there's really nothing to cover. All Modifius Entertainment has said is that they're going to have an Elder Scrolls board game. It'll come out sometime in 2022, and I'm assuming it's going to kickstart. So we probably won't have much information, I don't know, maybe summer? Because I got to be honest, they didn't even send out, and I get news releases from Modifius Entertainment, they didn't even send one out about it. So it's not something, I mean, it's something that they've got on their website, but it's not something that they're like, oh my gosh, oh, everybody, hey. Because I don't think they want to steal any of the thunder from their other releases, like the Dune role-playing game that's coming out. So I think that's maybe why they haven't gotten into a lot of detail. Plus, once again, the game's not going to come out for more than a year. So there's that. Other thing, Wizards of the Coast, there was an investors meeting, and turns out Wizards of the Coast has done very well for Hasbro this past year. No shock there. I mean, come on. But now, see, now this is something that I don't know. I don't know if I can buy this or not. And you got to remember that it's not like everybody gets this press release from Wizards of the Coast talking about their investors meeting, right? That information has to kind of, it's public, but it's not something that Wizards of the Coast is going to, sit there and, put out there in layman's terms and everything else. But supposedly, Wizards of the Coast and the digital gaming division, which I guess they consider falls into Wizards of the Coast, or will be falling under Wizards of the Coast, outperformed the toys. So I was like, really? So I would have to think that Hasbro's toy numbers were way down, because they've said time and time before that Wizards of the Coast just does not make up that big a percentage of their profits. This past year, much different. Very, very profitable as well. I think something like, they're talking about like a 42% increase in profit margin or something like that. I was like, holy cow. So I want to say the big news is, as far as gamers go, is that we are going to see a Warhammer 40K branded Magic the Gathering, as well as a Lord of the Rings branded Magic the Gathering. So what that means, I don't know. I have no idea. To be honest, to me, it seems like a gimmick. I mean, it really does. Just seems like a gimmick. If you were going to put together a card game for Warhammer 40K and a card game for Lord of the Rings, just go make a card game for them. Why are you going to try to port it into Magic, and the concepts and the game mechanics of Magic the Gathering seem kind of strange? More strange, in my opinion, for Games Workshop as opposed to Lord of the Rings. So Gary Clarkson says being locked in your house for a year will drive game sales. Oh, yes, they did. Something else they talked about, they are going to increase the number of releases for Magic the Gathering from 5 a year to 6. Not that they're huge major releases, but they do have their various different releases as well. But outside of that, I mean, a Grade A made it out, it's like, wow, we got huge news. And I was kind of like, I wouldn't say it's massive news. But if you follow the show, remember we were talking about, there were some of these supposedly in the know websites who just love to say, oh yeah, love to roll out the clickbait. And they were talking about how Wizards of the Coast was going to be sold. That, well, more so it'd be Dungeons and Dragons was going to be sold by Hasbro, and it was kind of a done deal. And if you remember, we talked about it on one of the shows, and I was like, that ain't happening. For one, there isn't anybody out there who would buy it, like in the gaming community, that's got the money to buy it. Unless it was like Asmodee. And let's be honest here, Asmodee's big, but if you took Fantasy Flight Games and you put it next to Wizards of the Coast, Fantasy Flight Games is a little shrimp. Let's be honest. Wizards of the Coast is pretty big. So, anyway, but remember, I was like, there's no way. No, they're not going to sell it. Number one, it makes them too much money, even though at the time we were talking about how that Wizards of the Coast is a very small percentage of how much Hasbro makes, but that's because Hasbro makes billions and billions of dollars with toys. So Madman's commenting about, so you want to be a game master, saying it's great series, great content. It's just me pontificating. Just, doing my thing. Just yapping away. All right. Anyway, so wow, that was a quick zip through the news tonight. So one thing I should point out, we didn't have any videos or anything tonight. We will tomorrow, because I'll be talking about 3 Kickstarters that are all launching tomorrow, including the one that I have done a preview for. So Clint Gibson said, upping the number of D&D books for 2021 is something that they ran across. They're hoping that it's true. I had heard something about that too, but it was not confirmed. I mean, it's confirmed that Wizards of the Coast is doing the offshoots for Magic for Warhammer as well as Lord of the Rings. That's been announced. The additional books, I don't know. Thing is, if that were going to be the case, then they have to bring on more staff. Because as we've talked about in the past, Dungeons and Dragons does not have a lot of full-time staff. Wizards of the Coast itself doesn't. But, in fact, I got to be honest, I think Paizo has more full-time staff working on Pathfinder 2nd Edition than they do with Dungeons and Dragons. I was stumbling there because I saw a grade A arrived. He must have heard me talking about him. It's like, there you go. Hang on. So the Madman says he ran across the same thing about D&D books. So Gary says, I'm not interested in those Magic reskin games. I don't think they're reskins. I honestly think they will put some effort into them. I just think it's kind of odd. If you're going to have a collectible card game for Warhammer 40K, which they already did have one, which that company came and went pretty fast. In fact, I had done a review of it. Gosh, now I can't even remember what it was called. It was okay. It was all right. I played it with my nephew Cameron, and he liked it. He thought it was pretty fun. But yeah, I just say, hey, let's just put together something new. So Gary says Fantasy Flight had a great 40K living card game. Yep. So grade A is grade A says they're late due to the typical Monday hell. Well, hopefully that's over and kick back and relax. Anyway, so I was going to say that news wrapped up pretty quick. So if there's anything floating around anybody wants to talk about, once again, don't forget, my massive Nyarlathotep review is up. The video is out. So Grade A's talking about Modifius and their EMAG. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's not... Nah. I don't know. It's called like a Modifiata or something like that. It's got kind of oddball name. Anyway, so Flaming Heron says, hey, they took a look at the subs and they see that we have cracked 4,000. Yes. The Gaming Gang, when I looked earlier today, once again, I see different numbers than you get to see. The number of subscribers was 4,016. So there are 4,016 subscribers. Just like back in February, I want to say, I think it was February 18th. I'm kind of surprised I didn't mention this. Got a notification that the Gaming Gang channel here on YouTube had received its 650,000 view. So, which is kind of interesting because, let's see. So I've had this channel since 2012, I think, is the first video I uploaded. And I didn't do a lot of video, but I want to say, I think 2012. It's Panzer. It's a review of Panzer is my first video on the channel. So you figure the channel's been around since 2012, or even it might have even been late 2011. I forget. So February 18th ish, I had view number 650,000. But I also pointed out, and I shared the graphic last year, the channel had over 250,000 views. So as you can see, there's more and more traffic has been flowing to the channel over the past couple of years than previous. So Grade A points out the One Ring broke the Kickstarter role-playing game record at 1.5 million. Oh, Pathfinder for Savage Worlds is like, why? Why could it have been us? Why? So Tiny Epic Dungeons has crossed the $1 million mark with 15 days to go. Yes, and I think somebody just floated out a video about the game as well, Tiny Epic Dungeons. So Grade A says there's an interview out with Francesco Nepatello, the head designer for the One Ring role-playing game. I have gotten asked by Free League Publishing if I want to do some interviews with some of the folks. And I not necessarily Francesco, but I'm talking about from some of the other games. So we're trying to work on something there. I am going to be interviewing Jonathan from Adventure a Week Games, who, if you recall, I think their biggest hit is Rise of the Drow, which I reviewed, but I reviewed it for first edition Pathfinder. And he's going to send me the collector's edition of it for 5e for me to shoot a video review. Because the review I did was a video, but I only had a PDF, so I was just sharing images from the PDF. So we're going to be doing that. So got a lot of stuff cooking. So I guess I'll tell you who won the contest for Nidavellir. And it was Kara Donnelly is the winner. So Kara or Kara, all you got to do is email Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com and just make sure that you email me from the Gmail account that's attached to the comment from YouTube, and you'll be all set. All you gotta do, get me your shipping address, and I will get that out as soon as I can. That was the only contest. We did not hit the numbers for anything else, for any of the contests. So for March, I'm going to kind of sit back in the weeds as far as doing contests, keeping in mind when the D&D Candlekeep Mysteries arrives, I'll be giving away a copy of that, the standard art copy, or I might do that alternate art. It all depends. It depends which one I like better. To be honest, that's usually how I do it. So that's going to be tied into the actual preview video that I do. So that'll be that one. So Grade A says they'll be weed watching. So, Grade A says, Francesco Nepatello talks about why there was a delay in release. Now, I'm curious if he's talking about why there's a delay for this release or why there was a delay with Cubicle 7, because it was supposedly done. From what I was told, I don't think that was off the record. it was not something that was told to me in a recorded interview, but it was told to me that it was done, and effectively Cubicle 7 Entertainment and the folks who hold the rights to the Tolkien estate couldn't come up with the negotiations. So kind of weird. Anyway, and then I guess there's discussion about what the license for the One Ring is, and very specific what they can do. Yes, I understand that one. So, which complicates virtual tabletops. So Grady says it was the delay from Cubicle 7 to Free League. So, yeah. So, yeah, I know they've reworked it a bit and they've tweaked it a little bit because, but the thing is, it's still not going to be radically different mechanically. In fact, they've already said that this new edition of the One Ring will be completely compatible with older materials. See, that's what throws me off too, though. So you kind of wonder, as far as the One Ring with this new edition that comes out, I know it's a different time period than the original. So it's going to be a little bit different. There's a bit of a shift. We're a little closer to the War of the Ring, I believe. I'm not positive. Remember, I don't know all that much about it. But I believe we are closer to the War of the Ring. But I got to say, Cubicle 7 Entertainment released some really good, really, really good source book material for the One Ring. So I wonder how I'm sure it'll be fine. But I'm sure there'll also be some people who have all the original edition One Ring, and they may not necessarily purchase everything that comes out for this edition. So Grade A asked if anybody remembered Fishing with John. I'm not a clue. So never heard of it. No idea. Grade A says now they have Painting with John for fans of the old Fishing with John. All righty then. Okay, so something else I'm kind of considering. I haven't decided yet. Kind of considering taking next week off. Don't know if I will. I'll probably decide by Wednesday if I'm going to do that or not. Because usually every quarter I'll take a week off, just take a little bit of a break. I've got quite a bit of stuff I could be shooting videos for too. So expect to see a good amount of videos this week. Something else I'm kind of changing up, because the weird thing is that for some strange reason, because I embed the YouTube videos into the website. So if you go to thegaminggang.com, you'll see the videos. They're all, a different article for each video. And that's how they get shared for the most part on social media, is a link to the website page that the video is at. Now, according to YouTube, they say that those embedded videos, as long as I don't have them set to autoplay, which I never do, to me, it's insulting. I don't like that. I hate when I'm at a website and their videos automatically play. Yes, I'm looking at you, CNN. Man, talking about junk ads. What is it with like all these news sites that you go to the news site and it's like just so much shit. It's like, here's news, and then it's like, oh, here's an ad masquerading as news, even though it says ad. And it's like, geez, crying out loud, man. It's like, can't you make enough money off the advertising on your cable network? You got to make it's not just CNN. Fox News is the same exact way. Yahoo News. MSNBC's website isn't so bad. But to me, it's like CNN's the worst. It's like you go and you click on an article, and right away they got a video that starts auto playing sometimes which isn't even the story that you're looking to read because they don't have a video for it. So, anyway, but so supposedly YouTube says that the videos do count towards views. I don't know, because I will get like as an example, Chaosium, the fine folks at Chaosium Inc. shared the link to the review for Massive Nyarlathotep. And I had 280 people on one of those days come to the website and visit that page. That was one of the days. Now, the video had already been out for a while, for a couple of days already. So it had pulled in views. And out of those like 280 some people who visited the page, YouTube was showing something like 32 views. I was like, come on. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start, and I tried this before, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell what was going on because I don't like to spend a ton of time messing around like on the back end of the website. That shit's boring. Even though it's got to get done. I did a bunch of it the past few days. So thegaminggang.com should be loading up really quick. And I always had good scores as far as like GT metrics and Google and stuff like that. But should be a little bit better. Should be a little bit better, because got to be honest, there ought to be way more traffic coming to thegaminggang.com than does. And I've already said we get over 1 million unique visitors a year. But there are some websites out there that are just god awful, ugly, poorly loading, that just pull in way more traffic. And it's like, wow, I don't understand why. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to embed an image of the video thumbnail. And then when somebody clicks on that, it's going to open up another tab to YouTube with that video. And I know some people are not going to like it's opening up another window. Don't know what to tell you. Even though I've got like a pop-up blocker, but it still will open it up. So I don't know. So a Great A says CNN's the worst. They hate navigating Twitch. I haven't been on Twitch since I streamed for a couple of weeks there, and then that was it. So Great A says I'm lazy. Only reason why I use YouTube. Flaming Heron says don't have an issue with either, but he goes straight to the channels that he watches, much more than the recommended stuff. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. I get a bunch of like odd stuff that I would never watch. It's like, no thanks, no thanks. It's like on Twitter. It's like, is the entire world revolve around Minecraft? I don't think so. Plus, why do I get stuff that's trending when it's got like 2,000 tweets? Isn't there more important shit in this world going on that have more tweets than that? Because I got to be honest, I am so tired. I've gotten to the point where it's just, I constantly have to be clicking on not interested. Because Twitter brings up all this nonsense about Dream and their Minecraft server and their Discord. And who gives a shit about that stuff? Really? I mean, I don't want to go off on a rant here, but if your kids spend their time, their free time, just watching people playing their Minecraft on some private server, you got problems. I mean, good luck. Good luck getting your kid to move out of your house when they're 30. Because it's like, what? So Grady says, why is my no, I don't like this Steam list 450,000 titles long? You would have thought it would have figured it out already. All right. So Flaming Heron says, who has the time? I know. And it's like, oh, it's so ridiculous too. The other thing about Twitter that cracks me up is you'll see something trending and it might be something that's actually of interest. And I'll go, huh, what's going on with that? Hopefully so-and-so's not dead. Yeah, because that's what people always freak out about. Oh my God, I saw XYZ is trending. Thank God they're still alive. But anyway, I'll go and I'll take a look and I get a kick out of all these people who repeat like the same, like maybe wisecrack or something like that, or, you know, words of wisdom. And you'll see just umpteen people, and it's like, really? How about you come up with something on your own? And I understand there's a lot of people out there, a lot of times thinking the same thing. But I mean, come on. Exact word for word, same image and stuff. Come on. So Great says they spend more time deleting content they don't want versus watching what they do want. I gotta be honest, I don't spend that much time on YouTube. I really don't. So it's mainly I check to make sure the video was okay and in sync, which luckily we have not been, knock on wood, out of sync in a long, long time. But so Flaming Heron says, can I say I watch people play games, but that's getting an idea of whether the game is something I like? Oh yeah, I completely understand that. I understand watching like how to play videos, reviews, things like that. Here's five jackasses who sit around streaming themselves and their Minecraft server. Once again, who gives a shit? Millions of people do. I understand. I know we keep talking about how, you know, the dummying of society is in full bloom. All right. Anyway, so people who reply all thank you need a 12-hour mail ban. Okay, so that's it for this time out. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll let you know when not only the Dispatch airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, also let you know when I upload other videos such as tomorrow's Kickstarter preview of Lore of Aethera, the Lost Druid. Bum, bum, bum. Check it out. You might be interested in it. It's a 5e based adventure and setting. And it's kind of cool because all you need is the SRD. You don't need to have the trio of books in order to check it out. Anyway, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday night, Tuesday morning, or whatever day it happens to be that you're watching. If you have been watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate people hanging out and just, you know, keep me company in chat. So I'm not just sitting there just blabbing away into a camera. But of course, I know there are other people out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. Thank you very much for taking some time out. Even if you're watching on Memorex, I definitely appreciate anybody tuning in to watch this knucklehead. So, Flaming Heron says, so they got to go watch the Game Master video now. Cool. That's what it's there for. All right. Anyway, once again, everybody have a great evening, morning, what have you. And as I wrap up all of my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I certainly hope every single one of you is being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching, and everybody please wear a mask.